cheese and chips madness. So last Friday, my roommate Greg decided it was time for us to cultivate our palates because, in his words, we can't keep eating ramen and pretending instant coffee is an artisanal brew. Fair enough. He announces we're hosting a fancy cheese tasting night, complete with invitations to our friend group and a Google Doc titled Be Prepared, an evening of culture. I thought it'd be an excuse to hoover down some free snacks and maybe pretend I know what earthy undertones means. Things started out normal. Greg set out a bunch of cheeses with little flags, there were crackers, grapes, the works. But then, as if possessed by the spirit of Guy Fieri, Greg brings out a party-sized bag of Lay's and plonks it down next to the Roquefort. He looks at us, deadly serious, and says, "True cheese tasting is about contrasts. We need chips to bring out the flavor." At first, we think he's joking, but then he starts slicing cheddar and balancing it on ruffles like he's blading for the queen. The weirdest part was, Greg had apparently done research. He had a spreadsheet, actual data, on which chips paired with which cheeses and why. You see, the salt of the kettle-cooked sea salt heightens the nutty complexity of the Gruyere, he intones, eyes wild with the fervor of a man who's spent too much time on food blogs. By the time he's stacking goat cheese on Pringles and talking about mouthfeel, I'm starting to wonder if this is some avant-garde performance art piece. The rest of us are just trying to suppress giggles, until Greg stands up, glass of boxed wine in hand, and makes his grand declaration, "Cool Ranch Doritos are the Riesling of the snack world." At that point, I realized Greg wasn't just cultivating his palate, he was cultivating a new branch of culinary science, charcuterie and chipology. And honestly, I have to admit, the man's got taste, even if it's mostly MSG.